this video, we will discuss about SARS-CoV-2 spike protein, which is a homotrimeric class 1 fusion glycoprotein, and what is the way to inhibit this spike protein. So the function of this part of this spike protein, so that so that SARS-CoV-2 virus does not get into the cell. So this spike protein has been divided into two parts. One is this S1 domain and S2 domain. S1 part usually contains a receptor binding domain. Receptor binding domain, its function is to detect the receptor of the cell surface, so that it helps in attaching the SARS-CoV-2 virus with the cell surface. And the receptor that SARS-CoV-2 looking for on the cell surface is ACE2. Okay, and what this S2 part of the spike protein has? S2 part of the spike protein has the fusion peptide that we have discussed in previous videos. It helps once the S1 part helps in attaching the SARS-CoV-2 virus with the cell surface. These fusion peptides helps in transfer of this or transfection of this SARS-CoV-2 virus inside the cell through conformation of through several changes in the conformation of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And this conformation changes occurs due to the change in pH near the cellular membrane. And most of us have heard about that SARS-CoV-2 virus comes from bat. So why people say like this? This spike proteins has been divided into three parts, and the middle part is contains receptor binding domain. And what people have found out that the receptor binding domain usually the sequence of receptor binding domain is similar to that of SARS found in the bats. Sequence of receptor binding domain in the spike protein that is present in the middle of the spike protein is similar to that found in the bat. And the N terminal and the C terminal, amino terminal and the carboxyl terminal of spike protein is related to receptor syndrome disease. Is related to acute receptor syndrome disease. Respiration syndrome disease, acute respiratory syndrome disease. So people might have think that with time there is a recombination might have occurred between bat SARS-CoV-2 virus and the acute receptor syndrome disease. And bat SARS-CoV-2 virus is when able to recognize human ACE2 cells, human ACE2 receptors. So this way people have come to a point that this SARS-2 virus may be the result of a combination of bat SARS-CoV-2 virus and acute syndrome disease. So this recombination have resulted in more infectious towards a human being, as this receptor site is been recognized by humans H2 cells, and this N-terminal and C-terminal helps in affecting the human being cells, helps in affecting the cells of the human beings. So this is how people have make a connection between that and SARS-CoV-2 virus. So after that, this binding and fusion peptides, apart from this receptor binding and fusion peptide, one more thing that is important for SARS-CoV-2 virus to transfect inside the cell, and that is proteases of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Because it is a long virus, it cannot get directly it cannot directly injected into the or transfected into the cells, because the pore size is not so big. So SARS-CoV-2 virus must be break down into small pieces and that is done with the help of cell surface serine type that is done with the help of cell surface serine based proteases. Okay, protease, and that is the exact name of the protease is TMPRSS2. This helps in breakdown of the SARS-CoV-2 virus into fragments so that it can transfect inside the cell. And in order to confirm this thing, what people have done is people have checked in vitro that if this TMPRSS is inhibited, will this affect the infectivity of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and they have found that in the inhibition of TMPRSS2, SARS-CoV-2 virus infectivity has been reduced significantly. And there are other proteases also, but this TMPRSS2 is plays an important role in transfection of SARS-CoV-2 virus inside the cell. So this inhibition of TMPRSS2 can prevent the SARS-CoV-2, can prevent the infection of SARS-CoV-2 virus. Prevent infection of, or you can say transfection. Transfection of SARS-CoV-2 inside cells. So this is one of the way by which SARS-CoV-2 virus can be by which infectivity of SARS-CoV-2 virus can be reduced significantly. Thank you.